Video 21, Part 12A of 25, Importance of the Plan Cost Management Process. The objective of this video is to present the importance of the plan cost management process and the problems that arise when it is handled inappropriately. The plan cost management process is the first process in the project cost management knowledge area and is related to the planning process group. Please click the like button. Subscribe to my channel and share with others. Thank you. How important is the plan cost management process in the PMBOK planning process group? The plan cost management process is a critical component of the planning process group in PMBOK. It establishes the framework for how project costs will be estimated, budgeted, managed, monitored, and controlled throughout the project lifecycle. Here we have the key reasons why plan cost management is important. 1. Foundation for cost control. The plan cost management process defines the policies, procedures, and documentation for managing project costs. It ensures consistency in estimating, budgeting, and cost tracking. 2. Aligns with organizational standards. The plan cost management process specifies whether the project will use analogous, parametric, bottom-up, or three-point estimating techniques. It determines the level of accuracy and units of measure, such as dollars, euros, and labor hours. 3. Supports realistic budgeting. The plan cost management process helps in developing a cost management plan, which guides how the budget is structured, such as contingency reserves and management reserves. It ensures stakeholders agree on how costs will be handled. 4. Enables performance measurement. The plan cost management process establishes earned value management criteria if used. It defines control thresholds, such as acceptable variance limits, for cost performance. 5. Risk and change management integration. The plan cost management process links cost management with risk management, such as contingency planning. It provides a structured approach to manage cost-related changes. What are the problems if the plan cost management process is not performed in the PMBOK planning process group as required? If the plan cost management process is not performed as required in the PMBOK planning process group, several serious problems can arise, leading to financial mismanagement, project delays, and even failure. The main problems that can arise are: 1. Unclear cost estimation and budgeting. Without a defined cost management plan, estimates may be inconsistent, overly optimistic, or unrealistic. This can have the following impacts. First, budgets may be inaccurate, leading to funding shortfalls. Second, frequent budget revisions disrupt project execution. 2. Poor cost control and overspending. Without a formal process to track and manage expenses, we may experience the following impacts. First, costs spiral out of control, such as scope creep and unapproved spending. Second, project exceeds approved budget, requiring emergency funding. 3. Lack of financial accountability. Without guidelines for recording, reporting, or approving costs, we may experience the following impacts. First, difficulty tracking who authorized expenditures. Second, increased risk of fraud or financial misuse. 4. Inadequate risk management for costs. Without contingency reserves or thresholds for cost variances, we may experience the following impacts. First, unexpected expenses, such as inflation and supply chain delays, cripple the project. Second, no fallback plan when costs exceed limits. 5. Stakeholder and sponsor distrust. Unreliable financial reporting leads to transparency issues. This can have the following impacts. First, loss of confidence from sponsors, clients, or senior management. Second, funding may be withdrawn or reduced. 6. Inefficient decision-making. Without a structured approach to evaluate cost trade-offs, we may experience the following impacts. First, poor choices in resource allocation, such as hiring and procurement. Second, delayed approvals due to unclear financial policies. 7. Compliance and audit risks. Failure to follow organizational or regulatory financial standards can result in the following impacts. First, legal or contractual penalties for mismanagement. Second, failed audits due to missing documentation. 8. Project delays and failure. Cost overruns lead to work stoppages or scope cuts. This can result in the following impacts. First, missed deadlines due to funding issues. Second, project cancellation if costs become unsustainable. In conclusion, plan cost management is essential because it ensures that costs are predictable, manageable, and aligned with project objectives. Without it, projects risk financial inefficiency, overspending, and failure to meet profitability goals. Consequences of skipping plan cost management. First, uncontrolled spending due to lack of clear budgeting guidelines. Second, inaccurate forecasts leading to cost overruns. Third, misalignment between stakeholders on financial expectations. Fourth, difficulty in tracking project performance against the budget. As a real-world example, a construction project that skips plan cost management might, first, underestimate material costs and, as a consequence, run out of money mid-project. Second, lack of expense control, resulting in unapproved change orders, resulting in increased expenses. Third, face audits without adequate records and, consequently, receive fines or lawsuits. As a final message, plan cost management is a mandatory step to ensure cost discipline and project success. Skipping plan cost management leads to financial chaos, loss of stakeholder trust, and higher project failure risks. Finishing this video, we will have in the next videos. 1. Creation of WBS for different projects using WBS Schedule Pro. 2. Examples of project plans using MS Project. And many more videos. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like this video and want us to continue with new topics. Subscribe to the channel. All content is free. You can also comment suggesting topics you would like to see on this channel. Thank you. Video 21, Part 12B of 25, Inputs to the Plan Cost Management Process. The purpose of this video is to develop a WBS to present the inputs to the Plan Cost Management Process. The Plan Cost Management Process is the first process in the Project Cost Management knowledge area and is related to the Planning Process Group. Please click the like button. Subscribe to my channel and share with others. Thank you. How important is the input of Project Charter to the PMBOK Plan Cost Management Process? In the PMBOK Guide, the Project Charter is a key input to the Plan Cost Management Process, though its influence is indirect compared to other inputs like the Project Management Plan or Enterprise Environmental Factors. In comparison to other inputs, while the Project Management Plan, especially the scope, schedule, and risk management plans, provides more detailed guidance for cost planning, the Project Charter sets the foundation by outlining financial boundaries. Regarding enterprise environmental factors, such as market conditions and organizational process assets, such as cost templates, they are also critical but are external to the project's initiation documentation. Here's why Project Charter is important in plan cost management. 1. High-level financial constraints and budget information. The Project Charter typically includes preliminary budget approvals or funding constraints, which help shape how cost management will be structured. For example, if the charter specifies a fixed budget, the cost management plan must include strict controls. 2. Project objectives and justification. The business case or justification in the charter influences cost prioritization, such as whether to focus on cost savings or value optimization. 3. Key stakeholder expectations. The charter identifies high-level stakeholders whose cost tolerance, such as investors and clients, may dictate the rigor of cost planning, such as agile versus predictive cost tracking. 4. Approval authority for spending. The charter defines who has authority over budgets, such as project sponsor, which informs the cost approval workflows in the cost management plan. How a poor project charter analysis harm the PMBOK plan cost management process. A poorly analyzed or incomplete project charter can significantly harm the plan cost management process in PMBOK, leading to unrealistic budgets, misalignment with stakeholders, and financial risks. Here, we present how an inadequate project charter analysis harms this process. 1. Unclear financial boundaries. This can result in cost overruns and inaccurate budgeting. If the charter lacks approved budget limits or funding constraints, the cost management plan may be based on guesswork rather than hard constraints. This can have the following impacts. First, underestimating costs due to missing high-level approvals. Second, overruns when sponsors reject later budget increases, since initial expectations weren't documented. For example, a charter stating, "keep costs low," without a defined threshold leads to conflicts when the team proposes a low-cost solution that exceeds the sponsor's unspoken limit. 2. Missing business case. This can result in poor cost prioritization. A weak charter omits the project's justification, such as ROI and strategic goals, making it hard to prioritize cost investments. This can have the following impacts. First, costs may be allocated to low-value activities, such as over-engineering. Second, stakeholders may challenge spending if benefits aren't tied to charter objectives. For example, a project to improve software UX without charter-backed KPIs could lead to overspending on unnecessary features. 3. Vague stakeholder requirements. This can result in scope and cost creep. If the charter doesn't identify key stakeholders, such as clients and regulators, their cost-related needs, such as compliance and reporting, may be overlooked. This can have the following impacts. First, late-stage changes, such as new stakeholder demands, force expensive rework. Second, unplanned costs for audits, certifications, or quality standards. For example, a construction project charter failing to mention environmental regulations may later face fines or redesign costs. 4. Lack of authority definitions. This can result in approval delays and rework. If the charter doesn't specify who controls budgets, such as sponsor versus project manager, cost decisions may stall or require rework. This can have the following impacts. First, time wasted clarifying approval chains. Second, conflicts when unauthorized spending occurs, such as team buys tools without approval. For example, a project manager assumes they can approve expenses up to $10,000, but the charter silently requires sponsor sign-off for anything greater than $1,000. 5. Unrealistic milestones. This can result in schedule-driven cost risks. A charter with arbitrary deadlines, such as launch in 6 months, forces rushed procurement or overtime costs. This can have the following impacts. First, expedited shipping fees, premium labor rates, or penalties for rushed quality checks. Second, the cost management plan may fail to account for these risks. For example, a project charter demanding a Q4 launch without feasibility analysis leads to costly last-minute vendor hires. In conclusion, the project charter is important but not exhaustive for plan cost management. It provides the initial financial framework, but the project manager must refine cost strategies using more detailed inputs later. Without the project charter's constraints, cost planning could lack alignment with business goals. How important is the input of project management plan to the PMBOK plan cost management process? The project management plan is a critical input to the plan cost management process in PMBOK. The direct inputs from project management plan to plan cost management are: first, scope baseline, such project scope statement, WBS, and WBS dictionary, as they define what costs will cover. Second, schedule baseline, which helps in time-phased budgeting. Third, risk management plan, which influences contingency and management reserves. Fourth, stakeholder engagement plan, which may dictate cost reporting frequency and format. Here we present the key contributions of the project management plan to plan cost management. 1. Provides foundational guidance. The project management plan includes subsidiary plans, such as scope, schedule, risk, and quality, that influence cost estimation and control strategies. Examples of this influence include: first, scope management plan defines what is included, excluded, affecting cost estimates. Second, schedule management plan impacts time-phased budgeting. Third, risk management plan helps account for contingency reserves. 2. Aligns cost management with project strategy. First, the project lifecycle determines whether costs are estimated iteratively, such as agile, or predictively, such as waterfall. Second, the development approach, such as hybrid, phased, etc., impacts cost estimation techniques. 3. Ensures consistency with other knowledge areas. Cost management must integrate with: first, schedule management, such as earned value management and budget allocation over time. Second, resource management, such as labor costs and material costs. Third, procurement management, such as vendor costs and contracts. 4. Governance and compliance considerations. The project management plan includes organizational process assets and enterprise environmental factors that shape cost policies, such as financial controls and reporting requirements. How a poor project management plan analysis harm the PMBOK plan cost management process. A poor analysis of the project management plan can severely undermine the plan cost management process in PMBOK, leading to inaccurate budgets, cost overruns, and project failure. Here we present how a poor analysis of the project management plan can harm the plan cost management process. 1. Inaccurate cost estimates due to poor scope definition. If the scope baseline, WBS, scope statement is poorly analyzed, cost estimators may miss deliverables, leading to underestimation. This can result in the following impacts. First, unplanned work increases costs, such as scope creep. Second, frequent budget revisions and stakeholder dissatisfaction. 2. Unrealistic budgeting from flawed schedule baseline. If the schedule baseline is unrealistic, such as over-optimistic timelines, cost allocations become misaligned. This can result in the following impacts. First, compression costs, such as rush fees and overtime. Second, resource misallocation, such as paying for idle workers or delayed materials. 3. Lack of risk consideration leading to insufficient reserves. A weak risk management plan analysis means unidentified risks won't have contingency reserves. This can result in the following impacts. First, unexpected risks force emergency funding requests. Second, projects exceed approved budgets, such as cost overruns. 4. Poor stakeholder and communication planning affecting cost controls. If the stakeholder engagement plan is ignored, cost reporting may not meet stakeholder needs. This can result in the following impacts. First, late awareness of budget issues which can result in delayed corrective actions. Second, loss of trust from sponsors, clients. 5. Misalignment with organizational policies. Ignoring enterprise environmental factors or organizational process assets, such as financial policies and historical data. This can result in the following impacts. First, non-compliant cost tracking, such as violating audit requirements. Second, repeated mistakes from not leveraging past project data. 6. Development approach mismatch, such as predictive versus agile. If the project lifecycle is misanalyzed, such as using fixed budgets for agile projects, this can result in the following impacts. First, in agile projects, we can have lack of flexibility in funding increments. Second, in predictive projects, we can have a project overly rigid, unable to adapt to changes. In conclusion, the project management plan is essential because it ensures that cost management aligns with the project's overall strategy, constraints, and execution approach. Without the project management plan, cost estimates and controls would lack context, leading to inaccuracies, misalignment, and potential project failure. The final consequences of poor project management plan analysis on cost management can be: first, budget overruns due to missing costs. Second, schedule delays from funding shortages. Third, stakeholder conflicts due to unmet financial expectations. Fourth, project failure due to closure resulting from poor financial management. How important is the input of enterprise environmental factors to the PMBOK plan cost management process? The input of enterprise environmental factors to the plan cost management process in the PMBOK is critically important, as these factors shape the framework within which cost planning occurs. Here we have a detailed breakdown of their significance. 1. Foundation for cost planning. Enterprise environmental factors provide the contextual conditions that influence how costs are estimated, budgeted, and controlled. These include: first, internal factors such as organizational culture, resource availability, and infrastructure that dictate budgeting policies and financial constraints. Second, external factors such as market conditions, regulatory requirements, and economic trends that impact material costs, labor rates, and compliance expenses. 2. Influence on cost estimation accuracy. Enterprise environmental factors like industry standards, commercial databases, and geographical resource distribution directly affect the reliability of cost estimates. For example, first, marketplace conditions, such as inflation and currency fluctuations, can alter procurement costs. Second, government regulations, such as taxes, environmental laws, may introduce additional compliance costs. 3. Alignment with organizational constraints. The plan cost management process must align with: first, organizational policies, such as approval hierarchies and financial controls. Second, existing project management tools, such as ERP systems and scheduling software, that standardize cost tracking. 4. Risk mitigation and contingency planning. Enterprise environmental factors help identify risks, such as supply chain disruptions and political instability, that necessitate contingency reserves in the budget. Tools like PESEL or SWOT analysis are often used to assess these factors. 5. Regulatory and compliance adherence. Legal and industry standards, such as safety regulations and quality benchmarks, may require specific budgetary allocations, which enterprise environmental factors highlight during planning. How a poor enterprise environmental factors analysis harm the PMBOK plan cost management process. A poor or inadequate analysis of enterprise environmental factors can significantly harm the plan cost management process, leading to financial inefficiencies, project delays, and even failure. Below are the key risks and consequences of a poor analysis of enterprise environmental factors in the plan cost management process. 1. Inaccurate cost estimates and budget overruns. First, market misjudgment may be present. Ignoring inflation, currency fluctuations, or supply chain disruptions can lead to underestimated material, labor costs. Second, resource shortages may be present. Overlooking local labor availability or skill gaps may force expensive last-minute hiring. For example, a construction project failing to account for rising steel prices due to trade tariffs could face a 20 to 30% budget overrun. 2. Non-compliance and legal penalties. Regulatory blind spots may be present. Missing tax laws, environmental regulations, or safety standards may result in fines or work stoppages. For example, a project ignoring new carbon emission fines may face unexpected costs or legal action. 3. Poor risk management and unplanned contingencies. Unforeseen risks may be present. A weak enterprise environmental factors analysis may miss geopolitical instability, economic downturns, or natural disaster risks, leaving no contingency reserves. For example, a project in a hurricane-prone region without proper contingency planning may face massive unbudgeted recovery costs. 4. Inefficient resource allocation. Outdated tools, processes may be present. If organizational policies, such as slow approval workflows, are ignored, procurement delays can inflate costs. For example, a company using manual invoicing instead of automated systems may face processing delays, leading to late penalties. 5. Stakeholder conflicts and reputation damage. Misaligned expectations may be present. If organizational culture, such as cost-cutting pressures, clashes with realistic budgeting, stakeholders may reject the plan. For example, a project sponsor demanding aggressive cost reductions without considering market realities may force unsustainable cuts, leading to quality issues. 6. Project delays and schedule slippage. Approval bottlenecks may be present. Not accounting for internal governance delays, such as multi-level financial approvals, can stall procurement. For example, a global project failing to consider foreign exchange controls may face months of delays in fund transfers. In conclusion, enterprise environmental factors are essential inputs to the plan cost management process because they define the boundaries within which cost strategies must operate. Ignoring them can lead to unrealistic budgets, compliance failures, or project delays. A poor enterprise environmental factors analysis in plan cost management leads to, first, unrealistic budgets, with underfunding or overfunding. Second, compliance failures with fines and legal issues. Third, increased risks with no contingency for market shifts. Fourth, stakeholder dissatisfaction with misaligned financial expectations. How important is the input of organizational process assets to the PMBOK plan cost management process? Here's why the input of organizational process assets is critically important to the plan cost management process. 1. Foundation for cost planning. Organizational process assets provide historical data, templates, and standardized procedures that help project managers develop realistic cost management plans. As examples, we have: first, historical cost estimates from past projects serve as benchmarks for current budgeting. Second, financial control procedures, such as accounting codes and audit requirements, ensure compliance with organizational standards. Third, templates, such as budget formats and cost breakdown structures, streamline the planning process and reduce errors. 2. Guidance for compliance and consistency. Organizational process assets include organizational policies and procedures that dictate how costs should be estimated, tracked, and reported. These ensure alignment with internal governance, such as, first, quality policies, such as cost of quality metrics. Second, risk management approaches, such as contingency reserve calculations. 3. Efficiency and risk mitigation. Leveraging organizational process assets saves time and reduces risks by, first, avoiding reinventing the wheel through pre-approved methodologies, such as parametric or analogous estimating techniques. Second, incorporating lessons learned from past projects to anticipate pitfalls, such as underestimating vendor costs. 4. Integration with other processes. Organizational process assets link cost management to broader organizational systems, such as, first, enterprise resource planning tools for centralized financial data. Second, project management information systems for real-time cost tracking. 5. Dynamic updates. The plan cost management process may also update organizational process assets, such as refining cost templates or adding new lessons learned, creating a feedback loop for future projects. How a poor organizational process assets analysis harm the PMBOK plan cost management process. A poor analysis of organizational process assets can significantly harm the plan cost management process, leading to inefficiencies, inaccuracies, and increased project risks. Here's how a poor analysis of organizational process assets can significantly harm this process. 1. Inaccurate cost estimates. First, lack of historical data. Without leveraging past project cost data, such as budgets and actual expenditures, estimates may be based on guesswork rather than evidence, leading to unrealistic budgets. Second, ignored lessons learned. If previous cost overruns or inefficiencies, such as vendor pricing trends and material cost fluctuations, aren't analyzed, the same mistakes may recur. 2. Non-compliance and governance issues. First, missed policies procedures. Failing to incorporate organizational financial policies, such as audit requirements and approval workflows, can result in rejected budgets or compliance violations. Second, inconsistent templates. Not using standardized cost breakdown structures, such as WBS-linked budgets, may cause misalignment with organizational reporting systems. 3. Increased risk exposure. First, unaccounted contingencies. Poor analysis may overlook historical risk data, such as typical cost overrun percentages, leading to inadequate reserves. Second, vendor procurement risks. Past contract issues, such as price escalations, may repeat if not factored into new estimates. 4. Inefficient processes and delays. First, reinventing the wheel. Without templates or tools, such as parametric estimating models, teams waste time creating plans from scratch. Second, poor tool integration. Ignoring existing ERP or PMIS systems may force manual tracking, increasing errors and delays. 5. Poor stakeholder confidence. First, unrealistic budgets. If organizational process assets aren't used to validate assumptions, sponsors may distrust cost forecasts, jeopardizing funding. Second, lack of benchmarking. Stakeholders expect comparisons to past projects. Without them, credibility erodes. In conclusion, organizational process assets are indispensable inputs to plan cost management because they provide the historical context, procedural rigor, and institutional knowledge needed to create accurate, compliant, and efficient cost plans. Without them, projects risk inefficiency, non-compliance, and repeated mistakes. A weak organizational process assets analysis undermines cost management by introducing estimation errors, compliance gaps, and preventable risks. As a final message, proactive use of organizational process assets is essential for realistic, efficient, and defensible cost plans. Finishing this video, we will have in the next videos. 1. Creation of WBS for different projects using WBS Schedule Pro. 2. Examples of project plans using MS Project. And many more videos. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like this video and want us to continue with new topics. Subscribe to the channel. All content is free. You can also comment suggesting topics you would like to see on this channel. Thank you.